Hi there, it's Michael Whalen, and this is the Artist Expansion Podcast. This is episode number 24. And I know it's been a while since I did an episode. We're in 2026, and it's been really cold and snowy here in New York City, but things are beginning to kind of moderate a little bit. I have been busy, and for those of you who are fans of mine, you know that I have a piano record coming in March. And then I have a ambient record coming in June, and I have a fusion record coming in August. Saying it out loud is a little bit different. But yeah, people are like, why are you doing so much music? And I'm like, because I have it to do. So, I don't know. It's been a really busy time. And then all the marketing and doing all the content around each of the releases, especially the piano record so far. It's been great because, people are digging the music, and there we go. But today we're going to have a conversation about doing music for yourself. So I've talked about this on a couple of the podcasts, how important it is for you to be doing music for you. And I've gotten some feedback from people where they're like, oh, man, that's really egotistical. That's really self-centered. Okay, I got that. I got that you could think that. But I want to start with an idea for you. I want you to be thinking about, is your music a self-expression or is it a product? Take a second. I'll wait. Because I think for a lot of you, you have it like, yeah, I'm being artistic and I'm being expressive, but it's really not. What you're doing is you are looking for validation, which is the worst thing ever, and we'll get to that. But ultimately, you're making something so something will happen. So if your knowledge of the audience, if your experience of awards and plaques and all that stuff went away, charts, Billboard, YouTube, Spotify, all that stuff, they're counting numbers all the time. What kind of music would you make? Would you still make music? Are you making music so you will be popular? So I've said this before, but I'm going to say this in a slightly less careful way. I don't care what anyone, even you, thinks of my music. I don't care. I make my music for me. I make music that I myself want to listen to. And after I die, if no one ever listens to my music again, okay. So I'm not thinking about it in terms of legacy. I'm not thinking of it in terms of history. I'm not thinking of it in terms of like Steve Jobs, putting a dent in the universe, whatever that is. What I'm thinking about is I'm making music for myself. Now, you could argue that, but for me, making music for myself has a lot of integrity because I'm not worried about trying to kind of work inside of the thoughts and feelings of other people, which is hard. So, I make music for me. So you want to look for yourself. Is music a self-expression or is music a product? Now, you could also argue, why can't they be, two things can be true at the same time? They can't. It's really mutually exclusive. It's like a fork in the road. Self-expression, product. If you're making a product, it's not really a self-expression because ultimately you're only dealing with the commerce part of it. You're only dealing with the popularity part of it. You're only thinking about it in terms of, popularity and awards and all of that stuff. You're not thinking of it in terms of, I have made a self-expression that is an authentic representation of what I think and feel. Ultimately, this is going to be the battleground that a lot of artists have to find themselves in the world of artificial intelligence. Because in the world of artificial intelligence, most of that music, if not all, that's being made on Suno right now and all the other music platforms, is about getting streams and being liked and being popular and, fulfilling like its role as functional sound. It's not an self-expression. So if you want to deal with AI immediately as an artist, you've got to be dealing with your music as an authentic self-expression of you. Period. End of story. That is really what separates us from the computers. So when you're a kid, you have that sort of innocence of being a child. You're not thinking strategically. You sit down with a piece of paper and crayons and you're making stuff because you want to draw something. And that at a certain moment in your childhood, you decide that that picture that you're making, you're going to make for your parent or, whoever your caregiver is or whatever. You want to do it to please them. That's a fork in the road. So one is I have this need and desire to express myself and draw dinosaurs or whatever. And then the other one is, okay, I want to be validated. I want to be noticed by my caregiver. And at that moment, did you catch yourself and go, okay, I'm not making this for me anymore. I'm making this for them. I'm making this to please them, which is not bad. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying that it's not an expression of you. You're making a product, a thing, to please someone else. So fast forward 15, 20, 30 years, and here you are in front of your computer with your guitar, at your keyboard, behind your drums, and you're having the exact same conversation, but you're justifying it in a different way. So one of the big problems is we have a lot of pressure from the industry to be popular, to accumulate numbers, numbers everywhere. And, we live in a data world. Everything is about data and streaming, and which is one of the reasons why so many, especially older artists, hate the streaming thing, because it's all about data and data and data. Okay. Can you realize that data is an important, essential part of what is happening in the business as a business, and make an authentic self-expression of your music? I know it's hard. I'm not saying that it's not hard, and it can also be confusing, because on the one hand, you're saying, okay, well, can I feed my family? Can I make any money at all? Can I get, booked at the bar down the street or whatever if I don't have the numbers? So am I making something that's going to get popular enough so I can get the numbers so I can do the thing? It's a lot of pressure. And the industry is not encouraging artists to go off on their own and create their own kind of creative paradigms, because who knows what that is? Who knows what that looks like? Who knows? So let's talk about what making music for yourself actually means. Consider for a second that what it could mean and what you might be hearing are not the same thing. So it's not, I'm making music for myself, it's mine. It's not like a possessive, it's mine. I want to give you two words that I think are going to really help you in distinguishing what we're talking about. And the two words are honoring, curiosity. So you want to honor your curiosity, your artistic curiosity, your ability to go off into the creative unknown, into the wilderness, into the abyss, with I don't know what is going to happen next, and create an authentic expression of yourself, blank sheet of paper. Now, for a lot of people, blank sheet of paper is very scary. It scares the hell out of them. But for some, it's the thing that feeds them that creative tension between the not knowing and the knowing. For me, it's the friction that makes it so I can release 3 albums in a year. I love that friction. I love that thing that sets my imagination and my curiosity off. Just to take a slight little detour here, one step farther with that is to create what I call self-limiting systems. So you actually take choices away from yourself, not to make things harder, but to make it so you can make absolute choices in a different kind of way. So let me explain. Essentially, create rules around how you're going to create something. So one of them might be, okay, I'm going to write a string quartet. So that's 2 violins, viola, and cello. That's all I get. Here I go. I'm going to write music. So a string quartet is in itself a self-limiting system. You can't, bring in 20 other guys. You can't, overdub. Here it is. Good luck. And me writing my string quartets were some of the most freeing moments of my creative life because there was a rule to it. There was walls to it. And I loved it. And so I found a self-expression in the limitations that I gave myself. And it actually made honoring my own personal creativity, curiosity, productivity higher. Highly recommend self-limiting systems. It's really cool. So here's one for songwriters. I'm going to write a song a day for 30 days. And at the end of it, you've got 30 songs. Are they going to be 30 great songs? I have no idea. I have no idea. But you're going to have 30 songs that you didn't have before next month. Now, they may be things you're going to want to go back and delve into deeper, but look at all the material you're going to have, and it's going to force you to start dealing with your creative process in a completely different kind of way. So when I was a young writer, one of the best things I was told was that if you try to write something for everyone, it will apply to nothing and no one. Meaning, it's so general and so sort of like ephemeral that nobody is really going to get where you're coming from. So a really good example would be like Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, where they are being very personal and very specific in their writing. Very. And these are 2 very, 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 very popular artists. And they are not thinking about being popular. They are thinking about, how do I create what I want to create in a way that has integrity, is honoring craft, and is letting me wander into that creative wilderness with curiosity, joy, wonder, all that stuff. Do you feel that stuff when you're writing? Do you feel wonder, joy when you're writing? Or do you feel the pressure of, it's got to be popular. It's got to get over with people? So the lesson is, the more personal and the more specific you can make your music, the more universal it will be. It's a paradox, I know. But consider that many, many, many artists are trying to be popular. They're trying to run with a trend. They're trying to follow something they think will be popular. Oy vey. What a dumb idea that is. Be yourself. Be yourself. Like your true self. Your actual self. If you're chasing somebody, you will never catch it. It's like a dog chasing after traffic, running after a car. A dog's not going to catch the car. It's not. It's never going to happen. So don't make your career about that. One of the big benefits of writing music for yourself is that it feeds you. One of the benefits of creating music that touches your heart and gets you excited and your pulse rate goes up and brings you wonder and joy is that you don't burn out. So if you've ever talked to a guy who's done 10 million gigs, 10 million songs, 10 million demos, 10 million sessions, and they've got that grizzled thing happening, they're not making music that's feeding them. They're not making music that is sustaining them. They are making music as a job, and they're making music because they don't know that you could do this for yourself. They don't know that. They only know about validation. They only know about chasing something. They only think that it's about numbers. They only think it's about money. They only think it's about success. So I turned 60 this year. I'm making the best music of my career because I'm being true to myself. And I'm being real with what it is I want to say and how I want to say it and who I want to make it with. I'm not in some conversation chasing after something. Yes, I've won awards and whatever, but I've never made music to win awards. I've never gone to a network that I've done a TV show for or a film and said, hey, let's go put this up for an award. I've never done that. So I've written the song, I've Loved You for 1,000 Lifetimes. I cannot tell you how many weddings and funerals and babies being born and events and all kinds of memorials and whatever it's been played at. And how many people have said to me, oh my God, this amazing thing must have happened to you. No. When I wrote that song, I was single. I was divorced. I was kind of done with love. I was done with the whole thing. I was done. And I imagined a world where I was so in love with somebody that I would say, I will love you, I have loved you for 1,000 lifetimes. And I imagined what that would be. So what I'm saying is that when you're writing something and you're being true to yourself, it doesn't necessarily need to be true to your life experience as lived. It could be creating a door or a portal to a world you do not know yet. Wow. Now we're talking. So consider that your music could actually go someplace where you have not yet traveled, but would really like to get to someday. And 3 years after writing that song, I met the woman who was going to become my wife, and now we've been together for 20 years. So consider the possibility that by being true to myself and opening a door and kind of stepping into the potentiality of it, I actually created the space to have the love of my life walk into my life. They can go together. It's not mutually exclusive. So no one is looking for you to have a perfect life and then write songs about your perfect life authentically, not worrying about money. Please do not hear that from what I'm saying. What I'm saying is be true to yourself. All the great songwriters, Bob Dylan, Billy Joel, Paul McCartney, these guys were not writing songs to be hits. These guys were writing songs about things they wanted to say. Period. End of story. So what do you want to say? See, that question terrifies people. And I know that from being a college professor and leading lots of seminars and doing coaching for years and years. Because I think most of all that is really the recipe for people to fail. Well, what if what I have to say isn't right? Or what if it's not popular? Or what if it's looked over? Guys, let's go to the end of the conversation right now. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. There's no one out there holding a candle for you going, oh my God. Nobody. My music's popular, and I can tell you that. Nobody is waiting for me to do my next thing. They're only thinking, why should I care about this music? Period. End of story. It is all about them. Your music comes across and lands in their life, and do they see an opportunity in that music? That's all there is. Now, being a fan and being excited about an artist or a band or whatever is different than what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that one-to-one relationship between an artist and the listener. Listener is, what's in it for me? Why should I care? The artist is, I am making this for me. I don't care if you like it or not. And in that music, the listener goes, wow, they must have written it for me because there's so much truth. There's so much personal stuff in this. There's so many references to things that I can map onto my own life that I'm going to bring this into my own life. Wow. Wow. That's how it works, guys. This is the part they don't talk to you about. So, go forth and make music for yourself. Don't be a jerk about it. Just don't be worrying about a conversation called, gee, I really hope people like it. I'm making it for them. So let me give you one last thing. And we have talked about it a little bit on some of the other podcasts, but now that you've heard this, maybe you will hear what I'm about to say in a different way. Consider that if you are authentically making music for yourself, you will be more effective at marketing it. Take a second. That's a big one. So if you're making music for yourself authentically, you will be more effective at marketing it. So this brings up a potential point. You make the music, you create the music, you're being authentic, and then you market it as two separate swings of the bat. For a lot of artists, they live in the same world. Do not do that. Make the music with authenticity, integrity, for yourself. Talk about why it's important to you. Talk about why it's touching your heart. Then, on the marketing side, take that and share that. And then a listener is going to go, wow, all that's in it for them? Wow, I wonder what's in it for me. See what I'm saying? If you can create something for yourself as an artist, as a musician, there's a really good shot that a listener is going to find something for themselves. If you're making something as a product, there's no space for anybody. It's all visceral. It's all shallow. It's all spikes. You know, it'll be popular for a day, a week, whatever. But no one's going to embrace it over a period of time. You won't have a career. So this is big talk. We're having a big talk right now because this is the real. This is the real they don't tell you in music school. This is the real they don't tell you in college. This is the real that maybe your parents don't even tell you. This is the real that maybe even your music teachers don't tell you. This is the real. Make music for yourself. You're going to see a big difference. I really hope this helps. Thanks, guys.